secret enemy organization has hidden a database of sensitive military intelligence deep inside an abandoned mountain complex. The location is known only by one name: Devil's Corridor, a maze of underground tunnels and heavily fortified installations buried beneath solid rock. For months, intelligence agencies had heard whispers of the place, but no satellite, no drone, and no informant had ever confirmed exactly what lay beneath the mountain. Then, in the middle of a storm, satellites intercepted a brief, encrypted data transmission. Somewhere inside that complex was a laptop holding the keys to a worldwide network of covert operations. Command knew there was only one team capable of retrieving it without triggering a global crisis. Steve and Maika were given one mission: get in, get the data, get out. No diplomatic cover, no backup, no second chances. No one knew how many guards patrolled the tunnels. No one knew what kind of security waited behind those walls. And no one, not even Steve, knew exactly what secret the laptop held. Rain clouds rolled low over the mountains as Steve stared at a digital screen inside the command center, studying satellite images of jagged peaks and shadowed valleys. Maika sat beside him, calm but alert, her eyes fixed on the same coordinates that had haunted the briefing room for the last 48 hours. An unknown signal had been intercepted from a location that intelligence files simply labeled Devil's Corridor. According to the analysis, buried deep beneath layers of rock was a secret that was never meant to be found, one that could destabilize alliances across 3 continents. A laptop containing encrypted data had to be recovered at any cost before anyone else realized it had ever been detected. Steve knew his mission by heart. No mistakes, no hesitation, no second chances. Maika looked up at him, calm and focused. She didn't need words. She was ready the moment he was. Within the hour, their helicopter lifted off, engines roaring against the wind, and disappeared into a thick wall of mist rolling down from the peaks. 20 minutes later, the aircraft banked low over a ridge and dropped them onto a narrow rocky plateau. Alone, exposed, and miles from any extraction point. Ahead of them lay a forgotten military road, cracked by decades of weather and long since abandoned by whatever army had built it. The infiltration began the moment their boots hit the gravel. Maika picked up a fresh scent carried on the wind, weaving between the boulders with the instinct of a hunter who already knew where the trail would lead. Behind a jagged rock face, hidden beneath a decade of moss and grime, they found what they were looking for: a camouflage steel door built into the mountainside. Steve knelt beside the access panel and forced the electronic lock, his fingers moving with practiced precision as the wind howled behind them. The door groaned open, revealing a long tunnel that swallowed the daylight whole. The silence inside felt unnatural, too still, as if the tunnel itself were holding its breath. Maika moved ahead without a sound, her paws silent against the cold concrete floor. Tracking every shift in the air, without warning, 2 guards appeared at a crossing point ahead, their flashlights slicing through the dark. Steve pulled back instantly, ducking behind a thick pipeline just as the beam of light swept past. The guards passed only a few meters away, their boots echoing down the corridor, completely unaware of the 2 intruders pressed against the shadows. Neither of them had been seen. Steve exhaled slowly and gave Maika a quiet hand signal to continue. Deeper inside, the tunnel widened into something far larger than either of them had expected. What looked from the outside like an abandoned mountain had become, underground, an ultra-modern military installation. Below them, dozens of guards moved through a vast command floor in tight practice patrols. Cameras and motion sensors lined every wall and ceiling beam. Steve studied their movements from a raised platform, timing every patrol down to the second. One mistake here would mean the end of the mission, and possibly both their lives. Then Maika's ears suddenly perked up. From a side corridor came the sound of footsteps, an extra patrol that wasn't on Steve's map, moving in a pattern no analyst back home had predicted. Steve pulled them both back behind a row of humming servers as the new patrol drew closer, the blue glow of the machines casting long shadows across the floor. One of the guards stopped abruptly. He turned his head slightly, as if he'd heard something he couldn't quite place. Maika froze completely still. No movement, no sound, only her eyes tracked every step the guard took, waiting for the moment he might turn toward them. After a few unbearably long seconds, the patrol moved on. Steve let out a slow breath, feeling his heartbeat finally begin to settle. Ahead of them stood a secured checkpoint. According to the schematics Steve had memorized, the central command sector lay just beyond it. He knew they were close now. Past that final layer of security was the room where the laptop was being kept. Before them stood the most heavily guarded door in the entire complex. A slab of reinforced titanium built to withstand far more than 2 intruders. Behind it lay the very information they had risked everything to reach. Steve connected a portable computer to the access panel, his fingers moving fast across the small keypad as lines of code scrolled past. The security system fought back instantly, throwing up layer after layer of encrypted resistance. 30 seconds remained on the counter. 20 seconds. Steve's jaw tightened as warning symbols flashed red across the screen. 10 seconds. Maika's ears flattened, sensing the tension building around them. Then, with a final click, the massive door slid open. In the center of the room stood a single laptop, resting on a reinforced table beneath a dim overhead light. This was it. Here, hidden beneath a mountain, lay the secret of Devil's Corridor. Steve moved quickly, connecting a secure drive and beginning the data transfer without wasting a single second. Then Maika's head snapped toward the corridor. She had heard movement. Fast, heavy footsteps closing in. It was too late. They had been discovered. Alarms exploded to life throughout the entire complex, red lights flooding every corridor in warning. Armed teams poured into the tunnels from every direction, boots pounding against metal walkways. Steve ripped the laptop free and sprinted for the nearest exit, adrenaline replacing every ounce of exhaustion. Maika led the way through a narrow maintenance corridor, cutting a path through pipes and cables toward the surface. Enemies closed in from every side, their shouts echoing through the tunnels behind them. The first shots rang out, sparks flying off the metal walls just inches from where they ran. An explosion rocked the tunnel, shaking dust and debris loose from the ceiling above. Steve and Maika kept moving, refusing to slow down, even as smoke filled the corridor around them. Ahead, a narrow bridge stretched across a deep shaft. Their only way across, and their only way out, the enemies were closing in fast, almost within reach. Metal groaned and cracked beneath their boots as they sprinted across the unstable bridge. Maika leapt first, clearing the gap with a single, powerful jump. Steve followed a fraction of a second later, throwing himself across just as the structure gave way. Behind them, the bridge collapsed entirely, crashing into the darkness below and cutting off their pursuers. A hidden emergency exit led them out of the tunnels and into the open night air. Right on schedule, the helicopter roared into view, cutting through the storm to reach them. As Devil's Corridor disappeared behind them into the mist, Steve looked down at the laptop resting in his hands. Whatever secrets it held, he knew, might be about to trigger their most dangerous mission yet.